where you didn't mention nonviolent movements, except for the very end was the toppling of the communist regimes in, say, Czechoslovakia and Poland in particular.
Sure.
And I remember hearing that after the Prague Spring was crushed in August of 1968,
yeah.
The Russian, or the Soviet soldiers who were sent there to Prague were, after they finished their tours of duty, they were put on trains and sent directly back to the Gulag.
This was in 68, yeah.
Because they had been exposed to the that kind of protest, and they were considered politically too dangerous to be allowed in ordinary Soviet society.
No, I actually hadn't heard of that. I mean, of course, the reason that non-violent protest worked in Eastern Europe in 1989 was that their Soviet patron, Mikhail Gorbachev, in 89, indicated that he wouldn't back a crackdown. So there were external circumstances. In 68, of course, Brezhnev was very, very willing to send the troops in. So of course, there have to be circumstances that are favorable. And I'm sure, I've heard the Soviet troops in Czechoslovakia, at least some of them, were not very happy about, being sent there to crush, again, what was in 68 also essentially a non-violent uprising. And what had happened, of course, was that this very reformist regime had come into power in Czechoslovakia and was trying to break free from the Soviet stranglehold, and they sent the troops in. But no, I hadn't heard of that they were sent to the Gulag. I'm sure maybe some of that did happen. I didn't know of that, actually. But in 89, of course, the circumstances were so different. But at the same time, these regimes could have cracked down themselves if they wanted to. But I think what happened was they were totally shaken and demoralized by just thousands and thousands of people coming out into the streets, what's called the Velvet Revolution in Czechoslovakia. And it happened in Poland, in Hungary. The only place where violence happened in Eastern Europe, or the only significant place, was Romania. And there Ceausescu was perhaps the harshest of the Eastern European dictators. And there was a mini civil war there, actually. And in the end, they executed him and his wife. So in other countries, there was almost no loss of life. Be it East Germany, be it Poland, be it Czechoslovakia, be it Hungary. And these are all, with the exception of Hungary maybe, quite harsh Stalinist regimes, especially in East Germany. They had Honecker, really old school Stalinist. And it was very interesting that in the end he sort of just basically left without asking his troops to sort of fire on unarmed protesters. But I think a major thing was that they were unarmed and non-violent, and